risk because Republicans in Congress want to pass a law to take away the right to choose for every woman in every state, in every county. And there's no pushing back from that. It's also pushing laws to not allow for exceptions of rape and incest and or the life of the mother in some cases. And, you know, it's really scary part that in some states they're already succeeding. When the Dobbs decision came down, I said, and Justice Thomas warned us very plainly, that this wouldn't stop with a woman's right to choose. And it would extend to the right to privacy itself and things like contraception. And so it was no surprise that we're seeing extremist laws pop up around the country that are having a ripple effect far beyond the health rights of a pregnant woman. We have doctors here with us today who are on the front lines of this crisis, and many of these laws would make doctors criminals just for treating a patient. In Arizona, they had a law which is mentioned by the Vice President on the books in 1864. That's 1864, during the Civil War. It went into effect again a week and a half ago. And just 2 days after it went into effect, a young 14-year-old girl who's been suffering from rheumatoid arthritis and osteoporosis initially couldn't get a refill for her prescription, the drug she'd been taking for years to deal with her two diseases, because concerns that that very prescription could be used to terminate a pregnancy in violation of the law in that state. And that's exactly what we're afraid would happen. This 14-year-old girl couldn't get the medicine she needed for arthritis because of the extreme, backward, and misguided law. Now, officials at the University of Idaho said it should stop providing contraception, as was mentioned by the Vice President. In fact, they told the university staff that they could get in trouble just for talking or telling students about where they get birth control. Folks, what century are we in? I mean, what are we doing? I respect everyone's view on this, personal decisions they make, but my Lord, we're talking about contraception here. It shouldn't be that controversial. But this is what it looks like when you start to take away the right of privacy. I've asked Education Secretary Cardona to look at the steps that we could take to protect college students and school employees in Idaho or other states where their access to contraception is at risk. And my message to any other college considering enacting policies like this, don't, please don't. We're not going to sit by and let Republicans throughout the country enact extreme policies to threaten access to basic health care. And that's why we're all here today. That's why we formed this commission. I signed 2 executive orders, and my administration has taken a number of actions that this task force is charged to carry out to protect access to reproductive health care, including emergency medical care, to protect a woman's right to travel, to get the health care she needs, to receive health care free of discrimination, and protect her privacy when she seeks it. And we're fighting this battle in the courts as well. And I want to thank the Vice President and Secretary Becerra for their leadership on this task force. And I also want to thank Secretary McDonough for leading an important effort at the VA. My message to folks across the country who are worried about what we're seeing is first that we have your back. We're not going to step back from this. And second, we've heard your voices. Now I want to turn it over to Secretary Cardona now for his comments.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. I share your grave concerns about maintaining access to contraception and reproductive health services on our college campuses, and ensuring there's accurate, reliable information for students and for educators. Students need access to health care to thrive in school and in life. And that includes—
We've been watching President Joe Biden speak. We're going to take a quick break, but stay with us. You're streaming CBS News, always on.
You ready?
A generation of kids opens up on CBS Reports.
I just want to be like a regular kid.
Their world, their struggles, their voices.
What if I was white?
A lot of people like to call names and make you feel ashamed for being proud of who you are.
Now streaming free speech.
It's evident that there's a wave of censorship across the nation.
Angry partisan debate in schools.
College campuses have not been a place of intellectual diversity for the longest time now.
Are loud voices silencing a generation.
I don't feel comfortable speaking out.
I started